Yeah guys, welcome back. So, I'm at Mackey's at the minute. I'm outside on a little bench. And I thought, you know what, me and Dan have just done the week shopping video. We came here, we haven't eaten, we just got drinks. It's hot, man. But I thought, I've been waiting for a while to do a video on peptides. My experience with peptides, what I think of peptides, and just overall, how peptides have helped me so far. Peptides is a hot topic at the minute. It's something that a lot of people are talking about. It's something that a lot of people are questioning using. And look, this video is to not promote any use of anything. This video is to give you an outline of my experience and what my experience has been with peptides so far. Now, obviously, when you mention peptides, the two main peptides that are mentioned pretty much, or at least in my realm, are BPC 157 and TB 500, which stands for thymosin beta. Now, they're the main two. Now, going back to August last year, September last year, was when I first suffered a minor injury, a strain as such. It was a strain in my right delt. It was pretty painful, wasn't great. Didn't heal the way I expected it to heal. And it was my first kind of injury where it was an injury that affected training, and I was a bit concerned really. And a few people in the space recommended BPC 157. Now I read into it, I took a lot of time reading into it because I am very naive about this stuff. So I get a bit concerned about using things and adding things to my body, so I read a lot on BPC 157. And BPC 157 is, from what I can tell you from my memory, it's a natural protein found in the stomach. It's one of the stomach proteins, and it's a protein that supports the recovery, regrowth of muscle tissue, and helps completely, pretty much, in supporting recovery of muscle, rebuilding of muscle, and that as such. So BPC 157 was introduced into my kind of intake of recovery around September last year. Now, off the rip, I had noticeable recovery changes, in a sense of the strain that I had within about 3 days was pretty much non-feeling anymore. I didn't feel the strain when I moved my arm, when I angled my arm up, out, up, down. I didn't feel the strain anymore. It was like it was gone. Now, when training, I could still feel it flare back up. But if I ran BPC again after training, and the next day, it would almost be like it was just gone again. So I then, ever since, pretty much decided, okay, maybe BPC is almost this super peptide that just recovers injuries. It just, it absolutely speed runs an injury at a rate that your body could never do on its own. So BPC, for me, has pretty much now been a staple of my cycling since September last year. When I had a bad left pec strain, like a muscle belly tear, I actually ran 5 milligrams, which is a vial of BPC a day for 5 days, just to preload it, and then went on to about 1.5 milligram a day there onward. So I actually run quite high doses of BPC, and I'd be intrigued if anyone else has used BPC to hear your guys' thoughts, how you cycled it, how you used it, etc., and to hear your experiences on it. But with that muscle belly tear, the muscle belly tear healing time should have been around 6 to 8 weeks for it to heal, and then it should have been an extra 8 weeks to 10 weeks for me to be able to push really again the way that I wanted to a higher level. Now, I did the muscle belly tear in the Eddie Hall video, doing the incline press, and I think 3 weeks later benched 300 kilo in sleeves, paused. So if that can give you an indication of what BPC did for me, that's it. Now, it wasn't just BPC I was running at the time. I was running thymosin beta, so TB 500 is another healing peptide that supports the recovery of muscle and regrowth of muscle, and it helped me a lot. They both helped me a lot. Now, I have recently started adding in growth hormone, so GH has been added now as a recovery mix for me. So I actually run 2 IUs of GH, 1.5 milligram of BPC and 1 milligram of TB daily, and I run that as a full recovery mix for my consistent recovery when it comes to an injury. I don't run it daily all the time. If I'm fine, I don't run any of it really. It's just there as necessity for when I'm injured. So at the minute I've got quite a bad AC joint, and this is still from the Eddie Hall video, and I'm starting to think that the muscle belly tear was the initial injury. The AC joint was a secondary, because it's flaring up every single time I bench, and it's getting pretty rough. But I'm running GH, TB and BPC for this at the moment. Now, admittedly, the AC joint is pretty rough. It hurts me to lift my arm up here. I can feel discomfort now there, all in here right now, horrible, all pain in my collarbone across there. If I was to move my arm out to the side like this, I'm okay. Range-wise like this, I'm okay. Range of motion-wise, I'm okay. But when I get to the bottom, I feel pulls in the left side of my chest, slightly down my left bicep and up to the collarbone. So at the minute I am running that recovery mix, and I can tell just, you know, after 3 days, as dumb as it sounds, I don't have any of the discomfort anymore. Now admittedly I did go and press yesterday, which is why I'm uncomfortable today, and I've noticed that with me, even though these peptides are really good for recovery, you still have to give your body the able time to actually recover. The problem with me is I'm going speedrun BPC for 5 days, 6 days, and I'm like, okay, let's bench. Now on an injury, you can't really just do that. You know what I mean? You can't just think you can commit yourself really back to it, and that's what I've been doing. So when people are like, you know, are you injured at the minute, it's because it's not a bad injury, it's just a repeat injury because I'm not giving my body time to heal. Now obviously I fly out to Los Angeles the end of May for Larry's gym opening, One Gen Gym. Me and Mark are going out, and I need now to give some time for this to recover, because I don't want to go out there and not be able to perform. I am planning, you know, a world first 3-plate 1-arm press on incline, so it's going to be possibly one of the most terrifyingly impressive feats of strength ever. I need to be able to make sure I can perform that lift, or at least give it my everything. And I think with the way I've been training recently, I'm training with a mind of content focus as a mind of focusing the longer game. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, at the minute, running my peptides, running GH, and just trying to absolutely recover. Now again, I want to really insist that none of this should be taken as advice for what you guys should do when it comes to recovery. The main thing to any form of recovery is sleep, number one. Sleep and food is the main forms of recovery for anything, but the speed up of the process is where things like BPC and TB come in. Now I always recommend that if any of you have any intent to ever use anything like this, you should ensure you are very well informed, read up on it, take your time, ensure that it is something that you will actually benefit from and need, as opposed to something you're just throwing in there because you heard other people use it. Because that's what seems to be the case in a lot of this space, is people use things because they heard other people use them. Understand the reason why I use it. It's because I'm injured. It's not because it's good for it, it's because I'm injured. If I wasn't injured, I wouldn't be using it. Same way I wouldn't be using GH. Wouldn't use these things. So please be informed, make sure that you're making the right decisions when it comes to these things. But overall, my experience on recovery peptides has been really positive. I can't say that it hasn't. It definitely speeds up the healing process, 100%. There's no doubt about it when it comes to muscle recovery, when it comes to strain recovery, when it comes to general recovery, you know, in terms of after a session. I feel fresh, I'm ready to press again. When it comes to the injuries, especially, they are way quicker healing, 3-4 day healing periods on strains almost, where I don't feel them anymore and I'm back to pressing. And it doesn't mean that I don't feel uncomfortable during the pressing. There's definitely still some uncomfort there, or discomfort even, but it's definitely a much faster healing process. As a sample, I want to say recently Mitchell Hooper did a video. Don't quote me on this, I'm just going out there. I think I can remember, but I want to say Mitch said that he had tore a hamstring, and within 10 days of running BPC was back to deadlifting from a torn hamstring, which is crazy. It's insane. Do you know what I mean to say? So that kind of shows the realistic effects of what BPC is or can do. But it also may affect different people differently. There has been a lot of case studies done on BPC, there's been a lot of research done into it, and there's still a lot of research going on into it. It is a research-only peptide, so admittedly, you know, it's not made for human use, even though there is many humans using it. So, yeah. Overall, my experience on peptides has been really fucking good. I can't say it hasn't. There's been no side effects. I'm going to be honest, there's been no side effects on BPC or TB at all. They're sub-Q injections. Sub-Q, you know, is usually in the lining of the stomach fat, which I have plenty of, so it's pretty easy. And look, the stuff has done me wonders. That is not me saying it's going to do you wonders in any way. That is not me saying that you should go and use it and it's going to fix everything that you've got wrong with your body. And it is definitely not me saying that you just need to get online and order it right now. You shouldn't do any of that. What you should do is, if you are someone that is interested in it or wants to find out more, go and read about it, go and understand about it. A great video to reference once again is Mitchell Hooper's World's Strongest Man, did a video on peptides a couple of weeks ago, especially focused around things like BPC 157. It was very insightful, very good, so I recommend that. But more than anything, knowledge is power. So please read into things before you go buying things just because you hear other people use them and things like that. It's not the way you should work, and it's not the way you should approach things. While we're here, we'll do a gear update. What I'm running right now, what I've been running recently. A really quick breakdown so I don't waste your time. For the last 10 weeks, 11 weeks, 10 weeks, 11 weeks, let's call it 12 to be safe, so I don't shoot short. The last 12 weeks, I've been running Test and Deca. So the only thing that's been added to my cycle is Deca. Test has been a constant, it's always been the same. I still run a mill, now. My bloods would show you that, but I run in a Test. Deca has been a new addition in the last 12 weeks. The biggest change I've noticed on Deca is I feel fuller in my body. I feel thicker, wider, more mass-based in my upper body. My joints do feel more lubricated, definitely, and I think that is one of the main things about Deca and why people use it, is it's good for joint lubrication, and I have, in my opinion, definitely felt stronger on it. Side effects of both. Deca I've not really felt any significant side effects from, personally. Test, however, still destroying my skin, without a doubt. My skin is dreadful. I'm 30 years old this year, I'm 30 in December. I've got the skin of a 13-year-old going through puberty. Do you know what I mean? I shouldn't have. Luckily at the minute, my skin is a bit better. You wouldn't think so with the way my arms are, but my skin is actually a lot better than it was, especially because my water intake is so up. My water intake's a lot higher than it was, and so my skin's a lot better. One thing I've noticed recently is my sleep is getting better. My sleep was really bad, and it has been really bad for a large amount of time, but it's, as of recent, got a lot better. I don't know if that's down to my frequency of pinning changing, so I do pin every 5 days now, because I heard that with FNA it's quite important to pin every 4 to 5 days to maintain one set standard, as opposed to highs and lows. I've tried Anavar, hated it. I don't know if I mentioned that previously in the gear update. The heartburn on it was so strong that I couldn't sleep, so I had it for 6 days and stopped. What else? NPP, which is basically a different form of Deca. I tried, didn't like, it stinks. NPP smells like fucking horse shit. It's bizarre. So that got pinned once and never again. Trying to think what else. Is there anything else? I don't think there is. Haha, Super Droll. Your boy tried Super Droll. That's right, sounds like a nutty thing, doesn't it? Because it is a nutty thing. It's a very damaging oral that I shouldn't have done. I tried it and ended up injuring myself. Would you believe it? So over that Arnold weekend where I had, I had the Arnold video, I had the Arnold day, I had the Ronnie Coleman shoulder press video, and I had the Eddie Hall video. I knew I was pressing really heavy for three times in a 5-day period, and it was all bench press and shoulder press. I just thought my body's going to need something to help me through. And I'd heard from a few people, stuff like this. Super Droll's great. Super Droll's like an instant strength increase. It's going to help you. You'll be all right. What Super Droll actually does is dry you out. It dries you out. So isn't it funny that I go to the Eddie Hall video and I get a muscle belly tear and a joint issue? Probably because I dried myself out. So I took Super Droll for 4 days. It's an oral. It's very harmful, bad for the liver. But like I said, I'm reflective with you guys. I like to be honest. Listen, again, I'm going to say it a million times. Don't do gear. Best I can put it. And I know that this is a video. Look, one thing I try to do is, it's such a weird pedestal I sit on, because I'm hearing a lot of you look up to me, and I do gear. I didn't the gear for 7 years though. I started in July last year. You have to understand this. You don't need it. You don't need it, bruv. I got to a 305 kilo bench without gear. And that's on my children's lives. I promise you, on everything. So I got to a 305 kilo bench, no gear at all. Okay, nothing. I introduced testosterone in July last year. I'm at a 320 kilo bench now. So what's it been? 10 months. 10 months. And I've got 15 kilo more on my bench. Yeah, true. Am I pausing it? Yeah, I am. But is that just because I started pausing benching more and just performed better and increased my bench technique? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's fuck all to do with gear. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's fuck all to do with it. Reality being is maybe I just actually started benching properly and better and got better at it. Look, don't do it. Please stay away from it. Unless you have an absolute necessity, and I don't think there ever really is a necessity of it. But like, unless your career is I'm going to be an IFBB pro and that's my absolute goal, and to compete at the top, I need to do this to be at the top, then whatever. But even then, please be careful. I just spat everyone, I'm so sorry. But look, reality is, it's not something you should do, and it's not something you should ever consider doing. Please just enjoy the journey, take your time, man. That's what it's about. My favourite days in the gym are where I just had fun. So, fuck gear, fuck all of that. But that was my update. I love you all. That's my experience on peptides, and until next time, see you soon. Love you all.